You have not heard the horrible sad tale well, I do not dare speak his names, for he goes by many. No one remembers his real name, most do not even know where he hails from. What little do we know are stories of a simple family man who lived a simple life, a farmer, trader, and not one for venturing away from his home. But who would venture out when you have everything you need? A warm house, a strong growing son, and a loving wife. The stories tell of his complete devotion to his wife. She was his meaning for living, and his meaning to work hard to provide for his family. But some stories do not end well at all. Both his wife and son were stricken with disease, an unknown ailment that proved to be fatal. One could not imagine the grief of losing one's meaning for living and his own son. So a journey began to search for a secret to life. He began searching for magics. He had heard rumors of magics that could maybe bring his wife and son back to him. The journey brought the man to Skyrim, a land of ancient knowledge and power that had potential to bring his family back to the land of the living. Anger, grief, and a righteous greed to regain what he had lost. He had made his way to a mysterious stone. It was said that once touched, the stone granted the person with dark gifts, a gift that was rumored to raise the dead to once again walk among the living. A darkness was said to fall over the man, which made him forgetting his family, forgetting his wife, and forgetting his purpose. The man had but been taken by the darkness. He had been taken by the ritual stone. Sure, we have all seen Masters of the Undead, different character builds that dabble in necromancy and raising corpses to destroy enemies. I even took a crack at it trying my own traditional looks and what a necromancer is all about. Raising the dead, as well as decaying the mind and body. Using a trick I have experimented with before, I have created a character concept that can adapt his undead army to his liking, always changing the powerful possibilities of combat, and using undead minions, and extremely strong minions too. This character class and concept is probably my most favorite. Raising and controlling the undead is a very satisfying aspect of any game that includes it, and Skyrim is no different. The one limiting aspect of a Skyrim Necromancer is that you cannot raise a permanent undead minion until you reach level 100 in Conjuration. Until then, you can raise humanoids and animals alike for a limited amount of time, 60 and 120 seconds. Another downside is that when these minions time out, they will turn into ash, rendering that corpse useless. That is where a certain item and a certain standing stone come into play. The Ethereal Crown, unmatched in its power when applied to a Necromancer, the Ethereal Crown can allow the wearers to have 2 standing stones active at once. One standing stone that is applied to the player and one stone that is applied to the crown itself. With this in mind, the player is able to store the ritual stone in the crown itself, which can be manipulated for immense amounts of power. The crown can be unequipped and re-equipped, nothing new as it is, as it's a known trick, in order for the ritual stone's power to be usable again and again and again. A proper way to play a Necromancer. So, I hope you like that explanation on how the build will work. So, let's get into it. Our character race will be a Breton, and he or she will be a vampire. Standing stones will be the Serpent Stone and the Ritual Stone. The Ritual Stone will be hooked up on the Ethereal Crown. So, our major skills will be Conjuration, Illusion, and Alchemy. Our minor skills will be Restoration, Enchanting, and Sneak. Dragon Shouts will be Drain Vitality, Marked for Death, Soul Tear,
Frost Breath, and Ice Storm. Vampirism will have no use for a vampire lord, so you could just contract sanguinary vampires. Our gear will be on our head, the ethereal crown, or when you're low level, shrouded hood. Our chest piece will be the mourner's clothes or vampire robes. On our feet will be vampire boots, and our hands will be vampire gauntlets. And our weapon shall be an ebony dagger. Our stats will be Magicka 400. Now, your character is in mourning and for the loss of his family. He wears blackened clothes to show his despair. I have always loved this outfit and build, and the RP is a perfect fit for it. As a Necromancer, you are master of the mind and decay, capable of infecting your enemies' thoughts, as well as dishing out slow-acting poisons through spells and powerful potions. Ice spells are to chill the body so they don't decay as fast. Every Necromancer I have seen is all-powerful, unbeatable dark force of death. Necromancy is normally frowned upon, yes, but this is not some invincible devil build. I will admit, once things get going, you will be trucking through just about every fight and it is awesome. But I have not added one stat point into health. In gaining the dark gifts, you are weak and feeble. You have your magic and your mind to do the muscle work. Skills and spells. Conjuration, the mainstay of any Necromancer build, so this choice goes without saying. The skill tree allows for cutting down on conjuration cost, longer undead summon durations, a big 100% health boost to raised undead, and the ability to raise 2 undead minions. Illusion. The Necromancer is a master of the mind, along with the obvious choice of conjuration. Illusion is quite possibly even more important, as you will read in the gameplay section. This skill allows the Necromancer to frenzy your enemies to provide corpses for his needs, creating chaos and keeping enemy weapons away from your feeble frame and low health. Illusion also allows for insane amounts of health boost to your minions. Alchemy. Necromancers are agents of decay. You take from the world of living, plucking living things from the earth, and gather ingredients to mix powerful, debilitating poisons. Strong poisons combined with the concentrated poison perk allows for 2 quick dagger strikes as a last resort when in a tough battle. Paralyze and weakness to potions are invaluable when a strong-armed bandit is charging at you without minions to help in your defense. Minor skills. Restoration. The magic scroll of restoration has many uses: healing oneself, regenerating magic and stamina, as well as the all-power perk Necromage, which allows our undead selves to have boosted spell effects. This magic scroll also has the new fun Poison Rune spell, which enhances the Necromancer's power to eat away at living flesh from afar. Enchanting. Necromancers are masters of enchanting. Using the trapped souls of slain enemies, you can imbue your apparel and weapons with powerful enchantments. Some notable enchantments for your dagger, paralysis, and fiery soul trap. On your clothes, fortify illusion and conjuration. On your ring, fortify restoration and magicka resist. On your boots, muffle and fire resist. Gauntlets, fortify magicka and fortify alchemy. On my amulet, I chose to get the unique amulet, Necromancer's Amulet. Enchanting gear. Azendel's artifacts, you get 10% better enchantments. Well, 13% better enchantments, because the Necromage perk. And the Black Book of Sallow Regent gives you Seeker of Might, 10% more effect combat skills, and improved smithing. Seeker of Shadow, 10% more effective stealth abilities and 10% improved alchemy, and Secret of Sorcery, 10% reduction cost of all spells and 10% improved enchantments. What you're going to want to pick is the Seeker of Sorcery, as well as enchanting potions. You require to make some crafting gear to make better potions for your actual enchanting, to make better enchantments. Sneak. Having never really needed to sneak past many enemies, this skill is great with only 2 perks investment. Since you are wearing clothes for the most part, enemies will have a hard time hearing you, especially with silent cast and muffle spell. Sneaking proves to be beneficial early on when your illusion spells cannot meddle with the undead yet, and you need to be away from danger. Destruction. This skill is only useful for 8 perks, Wound Master, and up to Expert as well as Augment Cold. The Poison Rune spell is extremely helpful from afar, as the poison damage stacks each time. So, having the Rune Master perk allows casting 5 times further away, keeping you at a safe distance. I only use trainers to level up Destruction enough to obtain these 8 perks. Spells. Notable spells that I'm going to use is the Ritual Stone ability on Ethereal Crown, Dead Thrall, Courage, Rally, Call to Arms, Soul Trap, Grand Healing, Poison Rune, Frenzy Rune, Frost Rune, Icy Spear, Unbound Freezing, Mayhem, Frenzy, Waste Wall, and Wall of Frosts. Full perk spread is level 65. Enchanting perks: Enchanter 5 out of 5, Insightful Enchanter, Corpus Enchanter, and Extra Effect. Restoration perks: Novice Restoration, Apprentice Restoration, Recovery 2 out of 2, Avoid Death, Regeneration, Necromancer, Respite, and Adept. Illusion perks: Novice Illusion, Apprentice Illusion, Adept Illusion, Expert Illusion, and Master Illusion. Illusion Dual Casting, Hypnotic Gaze, Aspect of Terror, Rage, Anti-Mage, Kindred Mage, Quiet Casting, and Master of the Mind. Conjuration perks: Novice Conjuration, Apprentice Conjuration, Adept Conjuration, Expert Conjuration, and Master Conjuration. Conjuration Dual Casting, Necromancy, Dark Souls, and then Twin Souls. Sneak perks: Stealth 1 out of 5, and then Muffle. Alchemy perks: Alchemist 5 out of 5, Physician, Benefactor, Poisoner, Concentrated Poison, Green Thumb, Experimenter 3 out of 3, Snake Blood, and Purity. Destruction: Novice Destruction, Apprentice Destruction, Adept Destruction, Expert Destruction, Augmented Frost 2002, and Deep Freeze. This is where the fun begins. This character concept began with a simple concept stacked upon a very common playstyle: boosting your undead minions. Illusion spells Courage, Rally, and Call to Arms stack. Yes, their effects stack. I am sure many people knew this, but this opens up extreme potential for an undead army. Courage boosts target's health and stamina by 25 for 60 seconds. Rally boosts target's health and stamina by 25 in a small area of effect radius for 60 seconds. Call to Arms boosts target's combat skills health and stamina by 20% in a large area of effect radius for 10 minutes. What can all these spells cast do together if we achieve? We have to look at some math. Given that each of these spell boosts health and stamina, as well as one-handed, two-handed, and archery for Call to Arms by 25 points, Anti-Mage boosts to 33 animals only. Kindred Mage boosts to 35 humanoids only. Vampirism Champion of the Night boosts 25%. This would yield 41 to 43 animals humanoids to health and stamina, as well as combat skills for call to arms, plus Necromage boosts by 25% on undead. Fortify illusion potions boost by number amount anywhere from 100 to 130 normally. All of this together means that after taking Master of the Mind perk, you are able to boost your undead minions by plus 300 health and stamina, as well as a plus 100 to combat skills. Stack these effects with the capabilities of raising as many undead minions as you want, and you have some of the most powerful undead fighters capable of pillaging and decimating and absolutely tanking everything in the game. Of course, you could enchant and abuse the alchemy to have insane fortify illusion potions to go beyond the reasonable amounts of undead boosting. It is an obvious note that to know that you need Master of the Mind perk to boost your minions, 100% illusion is easy to come by through training hard and constant use against enemies. Is this all necessary? Yes. The Necromancer also utilizes Poison Rune from afar and highly poisoning and paralyzing dagger when enemies get close. It is invaluable to have your disposal minions last as long as possible in a fight. But who to raise? How should a Necromancer go about choosing who is fighting for him, given that Ritual Stone is capable of raising even a mammoth giants and many others? Let's take a look at some of my favorites. Vampires. My all-time favorite undead army crew. These spell-slinging undead masters of insanely powerful, capable of powerful melee strikes and devastating spells from afar. These are your top choice to your undead army. These blood-sucking demons are also capable of draining enemies' health, while also raising undead of their own, expanding your armies to a large numbers, which makes more for extremely epic battles, with both strong close quarters combat and ranged combat. Look no further for a better undead soldier. Being the vampire leader of 6 vampires is very satisfying, and your ultimate goal is for this character. Orcs. After destroying an orc stronghold, I decided to adapt my army to a crew of orc warriors. I did not look back for a long time. After boosting these berserkers with plus 300 health and over 100 in one-handed and two-handed, it was never a question of victory. Two-handed battle axes were cleaving our way through the land and nothing stood a chance. Absolute power. Alakir. These master swordsmen proved to be a great wrecking crew, having been a big of Mason's Alakir build. It's like having 5-6 of them following you around all the time and having an immense amount of health and one-handed skills. These agile warriors lack the armor rating of other minions, but added the health and stamina, they keep them alive and power attacking through anything that you come across. It is wise to note that when crossing into a new area and going through a loading screen, you might lose a few of your undead minions when utilizing the Ritual Stone. These Alakir are in a dungeon cave, so when exiting, I find it easier to move forward immediately to allow everything to load behind you. Draugr. If you want to feel like a grade A badass, Draugr are the way to go. All the way up to Death Lords, you can raise countless undead already in the dungeons underground to do your bidding. Insane amounts of health and damage. These are a notable choice for a wrecking crew beyond belief. Fight fire with fire. When in that tough dungeon, you just can't finish because of that really tough boss. These guys give a true sense to a zombie army, but they just happen to be armed with ancient weapons that deal mass amounts of damage. Other combatants: diverse wildlife, saber cats extremely deadly up close and fast enough to close the gap between enemies. Giants, walking tanks with giant's clubs, enough said. Wolves, effective in large packs, possible rock joint to enemies. Mammoths, well, you just need to try this one out for yourself. Chikaras, insane amounts of poison damage, a fitting damage for a necromancer. Deer/elk. I thought this was a effective method, and it surprisingly is. A large herd of elk or deer can be quite cumbersome for enemies. Trolls. Raise a couple of these maniac bad boys, and you will give your enemies a fight they will never forget. Now, for humanoids, Forsworn both melee and rage capabilities, powerful dual-wielding attacks. Stormcloaks and Imperials, pick a side, then raise your army. Strong melee and ranged minions. The Afflicted, spitting poison damage, great choice for a necromancer. Bandits, very common, powerful in great numbers. Hunters, great ranged attackers and marksmen. Falmer, strong poison attacks, both ranged and melee. Necromancers, more undead summons and frost spells. Mages, fantastic ranged magic attacks. Flesh spells boost armor. Weak against melee attackers. Conjurers, like vampires, these minions can raise their own minions, creating vast armies at your disposal. These are, of course, many other specialized choices for a necromancer to raise, or any combination of these listed for a maximum effectiveness. A wise tactic is to choose both heavy armored, high HP melee attackers combined with powerful ranged attackers for warlike situations. Some great combinations include saber cats and hunters, giants and mages, vampires and draugr. I implore anyone to give the ethereal crown power a try when combined with the ritual spell. This character class is highly adaptable to any playstyle, giving almost infinite army possibilities. If you want to be a mammoth wrangler, then you can. If you want to be an absolute disease that wipes everything in existence, then raise vampires. Thank you guys for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we will see you guys next time. And peace.